What began as a glamorous livestream featuring two of China's biggest stars, Wang Yibo and Dilraba Dilmurat, turned into a moment that fans and netizens would not soon forget. It was supposed to be a cheerful and interactive event, a bridge between celebrities and their massive fan bases. Yet in the blink of an eye, the atmosphere shifted from lighthearted to alarmingly tense. A man suddenly rushed onto the stage, knelt down, and proposed to Dilraba in front of the stunned audience. At first glance, it may have looked like a bold romantic gesture, but the truth behind the scene was much darker. This was not an admirer shooting his shot. This was a stalker exploiting a live broadcast to harass a public figure. And what happened next sparked a wildfire of controversy that put Wang Yibo at the center of an intense public debate. According to multiple reports, the man who invaded the stage was no stranger to Dilraba. He had allegedly stalked her for months, appearing repeatedly at filming locations, airports, and event venues where she was scheduled to appear. Despite prior warnings and reports of his behavior, he managed to blend in with the backstage crew using a temporary staff badge. This allowed him to get dangerously close to the actress before anyone could intervene. What makes this even more alarming is the clear breach in protocol. How could an unverified individual gain physical access to a celebrity in such a tightly monitored setting? The fact that he had access to backstage areas suggests a deeper, systemic security flaw that went beyond fan obsession. Some speculate that lax hiring or identity verification procedures enabled him to infiltrate the event. It wasn't just a case of a fan getting lucky, it was a chilling example of what happens when security is compromised at the highest level. This wasn't just an awkward interruption. It was a terrifying threat to personal safety that could have escalated further if not immediately neutralized. While Dilraba took a step back in fear, all eyes turned to Wang Yibo, who was standing close to the intruder. But instead of stepping forward to shield his co-star or confronting the stalker, Wang Yibo stepped back. His facial expression was one of confusion and discomfort, and he appeared to be scanning the crowd, perhaps waiting for security to intervene. This brief hesitation was enough to fuel a storm of online backlash. Thousands of comments flooded Weibo and other platforms, accusing Wang Yibo of being unmanly, timid, and even irresponsible. If it had been his sister or mother, would he still just stand there and watch? He's been stalked before, where's his empathy for Dilraba? Celebrities need to stand up for each other in moments like these. It is worth noting that the pressure of being in the public eye 24/7 can severely distort expectations. Wang Yibo's failure to act may have been an instinctive response rather than a conscious choice. He's not a trained security guard, nor was he briefed on handling such situations. For all his fame, he is still a human being, prone to shock when facing unpredictability. Some supporters argue that his neutral stance was a calculated move to de-escalate the situation without further endangering himself or others. Could taking a bold step toward the stalker have risked triggering violence? Could hesitation, ironically, have prevented chaos? Public outrage can be swift and merciless, especially when it's fueled by viral clips and emotional reactions. But with the benefit of hindsight, is it fair to place all the blame on Wang Yibo? It's important to remember that live events, especially those involving high-profile celebrities, are chaotic and unpredictable. No one is truly prepared for a stage invasion, and Wang Yibo is, at the end of the day, an actor and performer, not a trained bodyguard. The argument that he should have immediately sprung into action overlooks a key psychological truth: the fight, flight, or freeze response. Moreover, online communities tend to amplify outrage through echo chambers. A clip devoid of context can rapidly evolve into a definitive judgment, especially when the narrative fits into a broader societal critique. In this case, Wang Yibo became a symbol for perceived male inaction, despite the unique stressors of the moment. The internet's collective sense of justice demanded a hero, and when he didn't play the part, disappointment turned into fury. But what's more dangerous than public scrutiny is the tendency to reduce complex situations into simple binaries: hero or coward, right or wrong. That oversimplification can be deeply unfair. Experts in psychology emphasize that when faced with sudden threats, people instinctively respond in one of three ways: fight, flight, or freeze. Some take action, some retreat, and others freeze, unable to move or process what's happening. Wang Yibo's reaction may have fallen into that third category. His retreat might not have been fear, but a result of being stunned by the sudden chaos. The brain sometimes needs time to catch up, and in that critical moment, his hesitation was perceived as indifference or cowardice. This instinctive freeze is a deeply human response, often misunderstood in public discourse. Studies show that freezing can occur even among highly trained professionals like police officers or soldiers when the brain perceives a threat but lacks sufficient data to act. The mind goes into a temporary lockout, overwhelmed by sensory input. In a split second, people make non-verbal decisions not based on courage or cowardice but neurological programming. If this is the case for trained personnel, how can we expect actors under studio lights to respond like action movie heroes in real life? There is a gap between cinematic fantasy and real-time human limitation, and it's time we acknowledge that. Instead of directing all criticism at Wang Yibo, perhaps a broader question needs to be asked. How did this man get on stage in the first place? Security lapses at celebrity events are not new, and in this case, the real failure may lie in the organizational structure. A stalker with a fake or temporary badge should never have made it past basic screening. The presence of professional security personnel should have ensured the safety of all performers. Worse still, this wasn't an isolated security flaw. In recent years, numerous high-profile incidents have occurred at fan events, from physical altercations to inappropriate contact and even death threats. Industry insiders argue that some organizers prioritize spectacle over safety, underestimating the intensity of fan behavior. This is especially dangerous in an era where parasocial relationships between fans and idols are intensified by social media. Celebrities are more accessible than ever, but that visibility comes with risk. In truth, the burden of protection shouldn't fall on co-stars like Wang Yibo. It should be a professional team's responsibility, governed by strict protocols and rigorous risk assessments. The backlash against Wang Yibo also reveals an uncomfortable truth about gender roles in modern celebrity culture. The expectation that men must always be protectors, heroes, or saviors is deeply ingrained. When they fail to live up to these ideals, especially in public, the criticism can be brutal. But is it fair? Had Dilraba been the one standing beside Wang Yibo during a similar incident, would anyone have expected her to intervene physically? Or would her fear have been understood and excused?
These double standards deserve scrutiny.
What makes this situation even more ironic is that Wang Yibo himself has faced harassment from obsessive fans. He has been chased at airports, tailed in cars, and mobbed by large crowds. There was even an incident where fans tried to break into his hotel. Given these experiences, some believed he would have a heightened sensitivity to Dilraba's fear. And perhaps he did. But perhaps those same experiences also taught him the danger of confrontation, leading him to rely on security rather than taking personal action. In the days that followed the incident, Dilraba remained composed. She made no public criticism of Wang Yibo, and there were no signs of tension between them during subsequent events. Her silence may speak volumes. Perhaps she understood that Wang Yibo was just as surprised and vulnerable in that moment as she was. The media, however, did not show the same restraint. This incident should be a wake-up call for the entire entertainment industry. Celebrity safety is not optional. Proper security screening, crowd control, and crisis training should be mandatory at any public event involving stars of this magnitude. It also invites us, as fans and viewers, to examine our own expectations. Are we projecting unrealistic ideals onto our favorite stars? Are we demanding perfection where understanding is needed? This video is intended for discussion and commentary purposes only. All opinions expressed are based on publicly available information and do not intend to harm the reputation of any individual. We encourage viewers to approach the topic with empathy and a critical mind. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis thought-provoking, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with fellow drama lovers. Your support helps us create more in-depth content like this. What do you think? Should Wang Yibo have acted differently? Or are people being too harsh on him? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And most importantly, subscribe for more updates, behind-the-scenes stories, and content from the world of Asian entertainment. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment that has everyone talking.